Hello, welcome to video number 2 as we continue our co-writer training. This video is going to cover the topic which is number 2 in our steps of obtaining vital information before starting an EMG co-write. Today we happen to be focusing on an EMG report. Again, EMG stands for is a acronym for one of our assignment companies that sends us projects. And so we're using an EMG report today to train on this process. We'll have other videos that concentrate on other assignment companies as well. They all have their kind of structured way of doing things, but some of it is kind of crossover instruction and some of it is not. But you'll see that the differences are not too vast, that they'll be that confusing. For the most part, what we're covering right now will kind of be the process that you will take no matter who the client is or who the assignment company is. All right. So today we're going to be going over step number 2. I hope you were able to understand and follow step number 1, which involved downloading the assigned project folder from EAG. Again, if you have any questions about that, you can send me an email, email Paris Sharkey or any of our field management team. Tony Redmond, they can be able to help you with that process again, or go back and just watch the video. It'll really kind of take you through every step that you will need. But today, on this one is video number 2. Obtain the adjacent site information using Google Maps or Bing Maps, and or using the provided text map as a locator help. You will need that text map regardless of if you go with Google or Bing. But some people are good enough to just use the text map only. Some like Bing, some like Google. I'm a Google person myself. So I'll be showing you on today how to obtain adjacent site information. Now, once again, some of you may already be thinking, well, why is this before I log into QUIRE? All of this I'm going through today is about things you need to do before you log into QUIRE. Well, the reason why I'm doing it this way is because I want you to learn. QUIRE will not always be the avenue that some of these clients use. Sometimes they're going to send us a Word document and tell us to modify it. Some of them are lazy enough to even send us a report done on a whole other property and tell us to go through and modify that report. There's another program that's called Parcel that some reports are done in. So the easiest way I have found out to train people is to train everyone how to do everything in Word first. If you can learn it in Word, then it's going to be a much easier transition to doing things electronically. Okay, it's kind of why people taught you to add by pencil and hand and paper before they gave you a calculator. Okay, I promise you that it's just going to make you better to learn it this way first. So I want you to obtain that adjacent site information before we log into QUIRE. Have that information already there so that when you get in QUIRE, you're spending less time with that program being tied up. The entire team is using QUIRE, but we all can't be logged in at the same time. So when people get in there, I need everyone to be proficient and fast and correct, and having the information input in there, and you get out of there quick, you get in quick, get out fast, put in what you need to get in, and log out of there. Okay, and so obtain all this information before we start on the co-write. Step 2, adjacent site information. Here we go. All right. So if you remember, well, I'm sorry, somebody may be watching this who did not attend our on-site video training session. So the first step in obtaining, what we use is Google. Okay, so what we're going to assume is by this time you have gone through step 1. Remember, you know your address. It's 501 Easy Street, Goddard, Kansas. That's where our site is located. We're also assuming you have already opened up your tax map. Okay, so I got this tax map open and I'm looking at it and I'm seeing some markers up here or tags that should help me locate my property. I'm in Goddard, Kansas. Up here to the north of my site is West Kellogg Avenue, also known as US Highway 54. And then this intersection here to get to my site, it looks like I have to turn down Easy Street. Okay, and then it looked like I have to make a left on West 7th Street to actually get around to my side, and it turns back to East Street. Okay, I'm looking at this tax map to locate my property on Google. All right, and so I've received that tax map. We're making that assumption that you have that what you need. Next thing you want to have is what we have provided to you. You can obtain this off ShareFile, or you may get it in the email. This is the template to which I actually want you to put this information into. Once again, Nico, I'm going to have to fill this out on QUIRE while we're doing both. But one reason is sometimes our clients haven't actually given us access to that report. Sometimes they are slow, sometimes they are backed up, and they actually haven't even given us access to QUIRE for that report, or they haven't turned that report over to us. But we don't want to sit around and wait on them because they could have anything going on. We know how to get it done without QUIRE, and so I want us to train ourselves on how to just go get things done. And if we have, if and when we get access to QUIRE, we already have it typed out somewhere. You're just going to copy and paste it over into QUIRE, okay? But this way, you as co-writers, you're paid on only the portions that you complete. And so if you wait to complete it, let's say you're waiting on QUIRE to open and you don't have it, and we're coming up on that due date, what'll happen is the field manager, seeing that the due date is coming up, it's just going to go in QUIRE once we get it, and they just going to fill it out themselves. That's going to kind of cut into your money, okay? So you would be better off just doing it on Word first and then sending it to the field manager by email or something like that. That's my suggestion to you. Listen to what I just said. You're paid according only to the sections that you complete. And if you find that QUIRE is not available, it's not yet available, and you choose to say, I can't start because I don't have access to QUIRE, that's not very smart. I would do it on Word regardless. That way I can say, hey, Nico, I completed that section. Okay? It wasn't my fault they didn't get QUIRE ready. I did it. Okay? And so it would be my strong suggestion of you to get this portion, adjacent site section, done on a Word document that we have provided to you, so you can go ahead and get that done as soon as we assign you the project. Okay? So here are the steps. We're looking for the adjacent sites to the north, east, south, and west of our property. Once again, you've opened up your tax map by now. Next thing you want to do is you want to log in using Google to find Google Maps to locate that property. Okay? Just hit Google Maps here. My address, you see I've already typed it in one time. So our address was 501 Easy Street. And there we go. We pop in there and I can kind of see the imagery. You see that in the background? Remember, our tax map told us what this property looked like from the air. It's this square and that rectangle. Okay? Those two, and it looks like we are about on top of that, so it looks like it's accurate. This little square down here, we got on site and found out that that was actually a cell tower that was not a part of the property anymore. Okay, but in order to switch over from this look, let's make sure we're in the right location. Remember, on our tax map, it showed us the highway up there, and that thing looked like it changes names several times. We got West Kellogg Avenue, West US Highway 54, but we get over here and it's US Route 400. But there's our 400, there's our 54 up there. So just, don't panic on things like that. The picture looks right. If you want the picture to look like the tax map, down here we go to satellite view. Y'all see that? Look, follow my mouse down, satellite view. I'm gonna click satellite view so I can get a photo. There we go. So now it looks just like my tax map. There's my property. Doesn't have the square around it. Of course, this is on Google. There is the other portion of the property. So now I know I'm in the right location. Remember that? There we go. There's the big school behind it. So I'm in the right spot, even though the streets on the tax map and the streets on Google don't necessarily match names exactly of our nearest major highway that we might use as a pinpoint location. or benchmark is what we call it out in the field, but you know you're in the right location. Now I can start to look at my adjacent sites. Okay, so start to my north. Looks like here, taking a look at that, what is there? That looks like from the top that those are residences. Okay, you kind of can tell what houses look like from the top. You have a whole neighborhood there. If you just need to make sure, see this little man over here, follow my mouse down, that little guy, you can click on him and hold left click, but hold it down, and you can drag this guy over here and put him right in that street. You see the blue is highlighting, it says you can drop him anywhere. Remember, right now I am holding down my left click button, okay, and I'm dragging him where I want to drop him, just to make sure that this is indeed a residence. And I dropped him into the street. Look at that. I know some of y'all just got scared because you know they could literally show somebody what your front door looks like at your house. Yes, it's real. So you know you can't run from God, and you obviously can't hide from the government either anymore. So here you go. Now we see that these are residences, so we've confirmed that adjacent north to us are residences. I'm sorry, what did I just do there? All I clicked was the back button. Okay. If I want to see and verify that this is truly houses, all I did was go up here and hit this back button to get back to my aerial view. All right. Also, as you look at, if you want to know what's north, south, east, and west of you, if you look over here, your little arrow, the red always points to the north. Okay. So even if I make a mistake and I turn it this way, look at where the red arrow moved to. It moved to the right. That tells me that north is over here now. Okay. The red arrow on Google will always point to the north. Now, once I found north, I know that to the left of the north is west, to the right of the north is east, and down from the north, when I'm looking at a map, is south. Up, wherever my red arrow is, up is north, left is west, right is east, and down is south. All right, remember that. That is going to help you out a lot. It's going to keep you from panicking and getting direction wrong. Okay, when you initially go in Google, it should already be set this way. But if for some reason you make a mistake and click and rotate this thing, then make sure you look over at this nozzle here to make sure that north is pointed up, and you just need to circulate that thing to get it back up. Okay, so you don't confuse yourself. But we already see that north of us is what? Residential, but we have some more kind of property that's north of us. Now remember, on the tax map we saw there was a house there. Y'all remember that in video 1? But look, is what happened since the tax map a little bit updated here. Actually, this is Google being a little bit more advanced than the tax map. That house is actually gone now. Okay, and I can verify you that I visited the site and it is no longer there. So this has become vacant land. And while on this map, it appears to be what? Agricultural. We see those little lines. We have taught the team that those lines, when we see that line, it means somebody is treading the field, and so that's agricultural. But at least during this season, when I visited the site, things were kind of grown over with grass. It wasn't they weren't out doing any agriculture. So at the time that I visited the site, this was all just vacant land. Okay, I'm not mad either way here. Either way you choose to go on that language, it's really not a deal breaker. Okay, so on our north, we're about ready, okay, to fill out our north section. So north of us, addresses. This is important. You do not have to, it says provide every parcel address if possible, even residences. Don't follow that direction, okay? I don't know of any client right now or any bank that actually likes to see the residential addresses. Okay, that language was in there from just being that's them just being careful about the addresses, but you do not have to record residential addresses. After you verify that it is single family residential, north of us, that's all I want you to type is single family residential and vacant land. There we are. That's north. That takes care of our north. Okay. East of us, what do we see? Looks like more residences. All right. So, and also our land, if you remember, doesn't really go. It doesn't include this parcel. If we look back at the tax map, see that tax map? That's our border about right there. So right here is more vacant land, followed by residences. So that's exactly what we're going to say in our form. East of us is vacant land, followed by residential. Okay. South of us, what do we have? Well, it tells us it's Challenger Intermediate School. Okay. And that's exactly, but because this is not a residence, we actually do need that address. So they give you that little icon. We see that the address there is 335 Walnut Street. Okay, you need that address. You only need the street number and street name. You don't actually need the city, state, and zip code for this section. Okay, so that's what we'll write. We'll write Challenger School, 335 Walnut Street. All right, that's what's south of us. And they tell you the format they like it in. They like the address here in parentheses. Okay, 335 Walnut Street. Now notice I spelled it all out. That's what they want. They don't like us using any abbreviations when filling out any of the report for that matter. So just like they got it written down here. Oh, and they show you an example of what they like down here. Okay, that's a good use for example of how they want this thing to be written. Okay, so follow that example to a T as far as the format. And the final thing is west of us is agricultural land. Okay, I can verify that over here, I told you it looked like it had been overgrown on site, so it was indeed vacant land. This is an EMG report, and so let me catch myself before I get too far here. They like this language instead of vacant land. You'll find this out by looking at another document we can give you. They like the name natural enough, if I can get my caps right, naturally vegetated. All right, naturally vegetated land. That's the same as vacant land. It's the same as undeveloped land. But with EMG, they specifically like this language as opposed to vacant or undeveloped. Okay. All right, and then finally over here, we're doing our west adjacent site. It looks like it is agricultural on the picture, and I promise you, having visited the site, it is still agricultural land. And so west of us is agricultural. There you go. Okay. So that's it. You basically completed the adjacent site section that you need to complete. Of course, this information you'll basically copy and paste into QUIRE once you log in. But once again, we're trying not to log into QUIRE yet. All right, we're still gathering all the information we're going to need, and so you are now done. That is how you look up the adjacent site information prior to logging into QUIRE. Now, what you want to do is you simply want to go File, Save As. What folder do I want to put in here? Remember on step 1 when we saved that folder onto our desktops or laptop or USB drive? See that folder there? Go ahead and put it in there. Adjacent site section right up. You can take template off because it's no longer a template now that you've used it. You might put a marker on there, something like 501 Easy Street, just to let you know that it's this site, and say save. Alright, simple as that. I used 2 different sources, my tax map, and I used Google, alright, to locate, and we found a little bit of discrepancies between the two. You know, the tax map said there was a house there, remember that? Google shows that the house is gone. How do you know which one is current or which one is not? That's just a judgment call. You're not going to be incorrect either way. Uh, the field manager will verify which one is actually true when they get on site. So that's not for you to lose any sleep over or even postpone yourself in doing. Just go ahead, write what you see according to the source that you use. Go ahead and finish your section so you can say, I've done my part of the deal. All right. That is step 2 that we've covered now on this video module. Training. Obtain the adjacent site information using Google Maps or the text map. In EMG, by the way, this is the report section 5.7. So if you are doing an EMG report, the adjacent site section is section 5.7. In AEI, that's a different section. I may add it to this document. This will go in section, I'm going to look it up for you real quick here. Don't remember it off the top of my head. Listening to that nice music there. I know y'all can hear that. That's when I was traveling and touring with Kurt Whalen. But that's another story. I won't get into those lies. But yeah. So it's section 2.2 in AEI. Okay. And so I'll add that to this document that you will have access to as well. And then as we get, add clients on, I'll keep adding to this portion. But these are the 2 that you'll probably be dealing with the most. GEM is another, but they basically have the same report as AEI because they are thieves and they kind of stole that format. So there you go. Step 2. All right. Look forward to you watching the next video to cover step number 3, which is obtain local agency department information using Google search. Okay. All right. Not Google Maps, but this time we're going to use Google search to find our local department information. Stay tuned for that video coming to a series near you. God bless.